Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for subscribing to my podcast. Thank you for listening to this. This is episode 18, and I am your psychic, Christine. And if you know anybody that needs to listen to what I have to talk about, please refer them to join in and subscribe to my podcast. And it would also be great for you to just pop in, and I would love to do a reading for you. So, also, thank you so much for all of your positive Google reviews. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the reviews on my book, How to Make It Work by Christine Wallace, available on Kindle and Amazon. So this topic is about good times and bad times, okay? You know, sometimes we go through a period in our lives and we have a really good run. And it's like we've got the Midas touch. We're not really doing anything that phenomenal, but things just work out, okay? It's as if we're one with the universe. It feels as though we have, you know, that kind of power, that kind of energy. It's almost charismatic or magical, whatever it is that you want to call it. But like I said, we have a nice, good run in our lives that, like I said, we know we're not at our best, but nonetheless, wonderful things are happening. And this is when we're, as I said before, connected or one with the universe, and we're on the right path, okay? And then something happens. And as I mentioned in previous podcast, how negative energies can come into our lives, many different possibilities, portals, how it gets in. And it does get in. Sadly, it does happen. And when negative energy comes into our lives, sometimes that can go on for years. And we wonder, you know, what happened? What went wrong? How did I go from being that person in that situation, and now I'm this person in this situation? And it feels as if there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, we'll run a gamut of possibilities. This is when our wheels start spinning and we try to figure out what happened. And, you know, when we're facing problems, a spiritual solution is not the first thing that comes to mind. So you're gonna, you know, try working on yourself. You're going to try to become more observant of things going on around you, people around you. You might even cut a few people out of your life as a result, thinking that they're bringing you problems. You know, your mind is going to go all over the place. You may read some books, maybe seek therapy, and that's just to name a few. But when negative energy enters our lives and we find ourselves working 3 times harder than we should to try to achieve something, and it's like it's all over the place. It spreads like a disease. It affects our personal life. It affects our career life. It affects our state of mind. It's everywhere. You may start to feel a little hopeless, right? You may start to feel a little depressed or sad or feel like you're dragging your feet. But, you know, that's not something that you should allow yourself to go through alone. If you feel you need help, don't be afraid to ask. That's not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is, in fact, a sign of strength. Okay? That would be the right thing to do. You cannot allow yourself to face that kind of stuff by yourself. And if the trouble is something that is related to a negative energy entering your life, like any of the possibilities in previous podcasts, if it came into your life either by negative karma, either by someone you've become connected to, an object that you may have brought into your home, or someone out of jealousy, just a bad heavy energy sometimes can enter our home. There are people, and I'm sure you must have heard of it, people that actually move into a house and nothing goes right in that house and move out. And sometimes, yes, there are bad spirits in a house. They can be anywhere. They can be in an object. I'll tell you a story once that happened to me when I was just a young girl, a young teenager, maybe, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old. My sister and I, and of course, growing up in a family like mine, that psychic ability, seeing things in dreams and healing, my grandmother was a psychic. She worked as a psychic also. So it was around us. So, of course, my sister and I were curious, or felt that there wouldn't be an objection to us getting a Ouija board. So we went out and got one at a game store or something in the mall. Brought it home, and my sister and I were playing around with it, and my grandmother walked into the room and saw what we bought. And boy, did she blow a fit when she saw us with that Ouija board. Made us throw it away, and instructed me not to throw it in the garbage outside of the door on the same street, but to throw it out across the street. Because I guess for whatever reason, bad spirits can't cross to the other side of the street. They kind of stay on the same side of the street. You'd be surprised how many things there are like that in the world. Solutions for these kinds of problems. And, she was so upset, I was afraid to approach her after I threw the thing out. But after everything got calm, I went in and I asked her, what's this thing about the Ouija board? Why is that a problem? And she said back in the day she had one too, and it predicted that her mother would die, and soon after she did, unexpectedly. And she felt that if she did not play with the Ouija board, that would not have happened. So it wasn't her thinking that the Ouija board was actually predicting the future, but actually making something so. I asked her how she thought that could happen. And she said that a Ouija board was a portal, and spirits would be able to communicate through the Ouija board, but there was no telling what kind of spirit you would be reaching. If it was a good one, if it was a bad one, and if you open the door to that, you're kind of opening the door to a whole mess of possibilities that, bring a lot of trouble. And she just warned us to never, ever get anything like that again, or fool around with anything like that again. And of course, that was the last Ouija board I ever had. But, that's just an example of one of the objects that a person can bring into their home. Sometimes people, and I love antique things, but sometimes there's an energy connected to objects like antiques or even cars from previous owners and whatnot. But the thing of it is that when negative energy goes on for a really long period of time, and you just have this bad luck sort of run, like I said, it starts to actually manifest a bad spirit. That's what happens, especially if you're getting weaker and becoming, changing as a person because of it. But like I said, that doesn't mean that the situation is hopeless. There is hope. And the good times can come back. They can. And there are certain cleansing processes that a person can actually do to ward off these negative energies. And you can have a bright, clean, and happy life all over again. And the thing of it is that sometimes when a person has a negative energy, because a lot of people that I see come in because they're having problems in their personal lives. And negative energies can creep into that side of a person's life as well. I mean, like I said, it goes everywhere. It's like a disease that runs rampant and can be contagious. And, the other people around you, if you are going through something like this, other people around you, can feel it too, but they're not able to put a name on it. They're not able to explain to you exactly why they may be rejecting you, or make themselves clear. It's not that they're, keeping information from you. They don't know either. So it's hard to get an understanding from other people. So, of course, that's why it's always a good idea to see a psychic, have a psychic reading done, to get to the bottom of what it is that could be wrong. And like I said, it's definitely something that can be cleared up, and you can be freed from it. And you know what? The universe also sometimes will back you up into a corner if you are like a non-believer. The universe, which has good intentions, by the way, will, like I said, allow these kinds of things to happen in order to drive you to become a more spiritual person. As I've said in previous podcasts, you have to believe in order to receive. And the universe wants to support you, and the universe wants you to believe that there is good energy and bad energy, and there is this invisible war going on. The battle of good and evil is always happening, and sometimes it happens within us, and sometimes, we can watch it happening with others. But like I said, if you're going through these kinds of problems, don't, try to isolate yourself in any way. Isolating yourself could be the worst thing that you could possibly do under these circumstances. Either reach out to friends, family members, your church, or of course, like I said, you are welcome to contact me, 201-953-0658, and I am more than happy to help you through. So thank you for listening to episode 18 of my podcast. I look forward to serving you, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much.